Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lore with the podcast We're All Psychic. And today we're so psyched. This is a video podcast on Spotify. I said it first in the beginning this time. We have Sue London here, and I am so excited. Listeners, would you like to say hello, Sue?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, they said. I can hear them. I know you can hear them.
Everybody's excited.
We do have a question for you. Misty, would you like to ask Sue a question?
Sure. Sue, do you think that we're all psychic?
Absolutely. Don't even have to think about that. We all have this ability. We just have to go within, do the work on yourself, get rid of your baggage. And, once you do that, you eat properly. For me, when I eat healthy and do good things, I'm getting stronger and more psychic by the day. And, as I was telling you guys before I interviewed, there's things happening for me that are even stronger. So, everybody absolutely has the ability, and you just have to know how to tap into it.
That's right. Yes,
I agree.
And listeners, Sue is an animal communicator and much more. So you as listeners who have followed the podcast know Misty and I both adore our puppers and kitties. I have 2 kitties with me in this. They're gone now. But Sue, before the podcast, Gandalf was all over me. He was wanting to see you, so I'm sure he'll make an appearance.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. And so, listeners, this is like a really dear to my heart podcast. If you've been listening to me talk about Morgana for 3 years, so Morgana was a cat of mine who passed away, and that's the first spirit animal, I guess you could say, that I communicated with. Okay. For my experiences, but listeners, this is her life, man. So how did you get started in this? Tell the listeners.
I was born with this and I didn't know it. Let's just say that way. I was an only child and I was abused by my parents, and my dog, I was only child. My dog was my sister. My dog Spot. Okay. I got her when she was 2. She has a little spot on her butt, and that's how she got her name. And I would talk with her and I'd share my fears with her, and she'd answer me. And I'm thinking, okay, this happens. And my hands, if she got older, if she had something going on, my hands would heat up, or my hands would heat up around people, or I would have dreams at night and they would come true. I just had this ability for all around with animals and people, and seeing visions, and seeing past life stuff. I could go somewhere and see it from another lifetime. All this happened as a child. I'd see angels and I'd see my loved ones, and I would try and explain to people, and then they were calling me a freak. And as a child, that's really hard to hear. And I wasn't confident because I was going through abuse. So I wasn't one that could stand up and say, it's your stuff, not mine. And I can remember when I was about 18, I was really struggling with this, because back in I'm turning 60 this year. So this would be like the 70s when I was 10. No, in the late 70s. I can remember going to our church, and I was not a real churchgoer, like regular churchgoer, but I knew that I figured, okay, if somebody can tell me about God and Jesus, a minister could. And so I remember my grandfather used to talk about this one minister he looked up to, and I thought, I'll go to him. So I made an appointment. I went to him and I said, is there such a thing as angels? Because I feel like I'm seeing them, but I don't know how to explain it. He said, there are no such thing as angels. And I thought, a minister is telling me I thought this was in the Bible that there's angels.
That's crazy.
It was totally confusing for me, right?
I bet.
Oh my gosh. And so then what happened was, let's fast forward. And, here I'm working on animals, and I meet what I thought was Mr. Right. When you're in a high school, going out with that boy for a few years, and you get married, right? You're right. Where it's going to go from here, right?
Right.
And so my dog Spot, she was like my protector, and she was trying to tell me stuff, but I was ignoring it because, the teenagers, how we shut things down, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I had done that. And so she was always attacking only my future husband.
That's an assumption right there.
Right. And I thought, oh my gosh, maybe because Spot's getting older and, all this stuff. But anyways, so, I married the guy, and I was married to him for 16 years. I learned he had a girlfriend for 14 years of our marriage. He abused myself and my children. Mm-hmm. And so at this point, I've developed Crohn's disease. I'm really sick, and I'd shut down my abilities. And then I have this funny feeling in my stomach. I go to the doctor and they said, oh, you've just got a torn muscle. We'd moved into a new house. I was tearing wallpaper off, pulling the dead trees out, your landscaping and that. So I thought makes sense. So 4 hours later, I was rushed back and I couldn't breathe. And I was sitting for 4 hours in the emergency room and my intestine had burst. And they said, you've got 30 minutes to live.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have that long. I don't remember, they finished the sentence and I crossed over. And I can remember, going through the process of having the near-death experience. And I get to the spot, let's call it, like the landing, I guess I don't know. It's like, that's spot. How, you're going through all this, like zooming, like light and everything. And there was this white fog around. And so it was my grandfather who stopped me. And my grandfather was like my best friend. He was my protector. And if anyone could get through to a stubborn Sagittarius, do I need to say more? Okay. That was him with me. Okay. So he stopped me and right alongside him was Jesus. And they both said, it is not your time to go. You need to go back because you have millions of people and pets that you need to help cope, heal, and move forward. And you just need to trust us and we will guide you. So I came back and the whole world looked like really three-dimensional. I thought, do I need my eyes checked? Like it was just really a real opening for me. And then when I came back, that's when I had learned, I'm in the hospital for 5 months. My ex had moved in his girlfriend. So I thought, you know what, life is really too short, and you never know when it's your last day on this plane, and so you've got to enjoy everything that you have. And so I showed him the door. I spent 5 years working on myself, and I remember my lawyer saying, 5 years, you're going to be married. You're going to be married. I said, no way, I'm not going through this again. So then what happened? I worked on myself for 5 years and I, did all my Reiki training and, working on myself and, was learning who the real Sue was. Right. And so I was told that I had to go on to this club called Toastmasters. It's an international speaking club. And I was all through school. I was so fearful of center of attention. I was so shy, so fearful that I couldn't even raise my hand and say here at school. I was so petrified to speak. And so here I am being told to go to Toastmasters because I had just been asked to go on my first TV show. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Right. So anyways, what happened? At that point, I had worked with thousands of people with bowel disease. Doctors were sending their patients to me. I was helping them through that. And then I happened to be at one day and I'm in this store and I ran into this lady. And I ran into her 7 different places that day. Like, it was like doing all these errands. We kept running into each other. And I kept saying, oh, you must need something. It's all about everybody else, not me at this point. Right. So I'm like, okay, so you must need something. She says, no, we're good. Her husband was doing great. His health was going well. And so I said, okay. And we'd go through this every time we do this next stop. Right. So finally she says, it's got to be you. You must need something. So I said, okay, well, I'm supposed to be going to this stupid club. And I was to feel the heels digging in. Right. And I said, I'm supposed to be going to this stupid club and, get over my fear of speaking. I really don't want to go, but I'm being told I need to go. She goes, okay, I'll see if I can find the number. I'm walking in the house, the phone's ringing, and it's this lady, Diane, calling me. And she has the number. And I call the number and, we're talking to the man. And he said, I'll be your mentor and I'll meet you there. And I'll be your support. I will help you through this. I will get you up speaking. You'll have no fear, and we'll get you to really, the success you need to go to. So I thought, wow. I can't do this now, right? So I met this man on 9/11, 2001.
2001.
Oh, wow.
The world is like crazy that day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I walk through the door. I look at this man. I feel like I'm looking at my grandfather.
Aw.
And he even had the same name.
No way.
Yeah. So then we're talking. So, he said his name was Ross. My grandfather's name was Grandpa Buck, but that was a nickname. It was actually Ross, Grandpa, like Ross. So I said, oh my gosh, you got the same name as my grandfather. And so we got talking. So he did mentor me. And my I did my third speech, and I could feel surrounded by so many angels in the room and support from like animals. And it was just packed, right? And everybody in the audience were crying as I was sharing my story. My sincere story was about how my dog Rocky got me through so much. And what I was basically doing was I was delivering my dog's eulogy that I would remember and turn into an article that would turn into a book and a children's series just 3 months later.
Wow.
And so after I'm finished talking, all these people are crying. And I got off, I said to Ross, I must really suck at this because I'm making people cry. And he said, no, if you can speak and make people cry like that, that's huge.
Yeah.
And so I
really touching them. You're
right?
emotionally reaching them.
Exactly. So then I went on, to be a professional speaker. And then Ross asked me out on the first date, like a couple months later through email. And I always say this in interviews because I think, oh my gosh, don't it, like this tells you like how shy he was, right? So I'm ignoring this. Well, he's mentoring me still. I'm thinking, I'm not even going to bring up this email because I don't know if I want to get involved with guys. And so I'm getting all these phone calls and they're like, I don't know why, but I need to tell you, what if he's Mr. Right? And I thought, okay, how do you know what's going on? Like, I didn't tell you. It's like, does everybody know what's happening, And so I kept getting these phone calls and they were like, you've received this email. You need to go out with this man. And I'm like shutting my, digging my heels in. No, I'm not doing that. I'm done with men, I'm happy and healthy and going to stay that way. So I went out with him October 19th. And we were at this beautiful dinner theater. And the show that was playing was a man having an affair on his wife. And he's feeling horrible. And I'm laughing. And I'm like, this is proof that I'm past that. I'm done with that, right?
Oh, yeah. No triggers.
Yeah. About it. Yeah.
Right? So we're sitting at the table. And I thought, oh my God, here we're sitting at this table, but we were not sitting at the table alone. And my grandfather was there. And so was his grandma with us at the table. And I'm trying to focus on him. And my grandpa's like, this is Mr. Right. This is Mr. Right. And so, a couple of weeks later, we were talking and he says, you know what? He says, my favorite grandma, her name is Susie.
Oh,
what are the chances I'm like, my name is his favorite grandma and his name is my favorite, right? So we've had past life regression done and we've been married every lifetime.
Oh, I believe it. I love that.
Right. So it's like crazy. So I want to say to everybody, if you get that feeling, follow through with it. Yes. And you never know where it will lead you because we've been together. We've gone in like sick kids hospitals and done pet therapy. And I've read to kids that, they call it the C ward where the kids aren't coming home and they're terminally ill. And I know on the way home, we're getting the phone calls that the kids are crossing, but I know when I've gone in there, my role was to prepare with helping the child to prepare the parents for their crossing and help them to understand what I went through, so everything that I went through led me to where I am today. And, be able to share those experiences. On Thursday, there was a little dog named Miley that she was a little Yorkie and she came to me about it was about 6 weeks ago now. I first met her. I was told that I had to be at this specific event that was happening in July. And I when I hear in my mind, I need to do something, go somewhere, I always do it. I don't question it. I always do it. Right. So I went to this event. It was like a summer festival. And I was doing Reiki on dogs for 10 hours, sitting on the middle of Main Street. And it was about over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
You guys are American, right?
Yeah, we're in Alabama. We're in Alabama.
So I'm Canadian. So I'm just using your. I don't use metric. I've always been American myself, by the way. So
okay.
All this metric stuff, I don't get it still. And so, anyways, I sat for 10 hours on the sidewalk doing Reiki, actually, it was the Main Street, doing Reiki. So people got past the word what I was doing because nobody had heard about somebody doing healing on pets and giving messages. Yeah. So anyways, the week later, I heard this one lady came up to me. She goes, I need to get you to this other market every Sunday and people they'll come to you. And so what's happening, they're driving for miles, like to come to me from Canada. And I live kind of right at the border of Niagara Falls and Buffalo.
Yeah.
So they're crossing the border to come over and see me as well.
Oh.
And so this one day, this lady came to me and she said, "Can you help me with my dog?" And I always ask Jesus to work with me to help them, because I feel like we're a team, with this.
Yeah.
And I say to people, I'm not responsible for the healing. It's like, I'm a catalyst, I'm the vessel that comes through the healing. It's not me. Right. So I like to make that clear to everybody. And so anyways, this lady brought the dog, and this little Miley, she had a little hole in her tummy. When she came, I could easily fit my thumb in her tummy. She had 8 abscesses. She had one abscess burst so much it had burst a hole in her tummy. The vet wanted to put the dog down that day. And so, we're all heartbroken when we lose a pet, right? Yes. So the woman had heard about me, and she brought the dog, and I just started asking Jesus, like, help me, like, what do I say? What do I do? And guide me, with what I have to do. And I kept hearing, it's not time. It's not time. And the dog kept telling me, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So I was telling the owner this. So she brought her back every week for 4.5 weeks. And then the next, like this one morning, actually this past week on Wednesday, a week today, actually, Marley came to me and said, it's time. I'm ready to go now. And so I knew that the owner was going to call me on like that morning. And I kind of looked at my schedule so that I wanted to help Miley cross over. And so it was set for 2:30, and that was the one window I had open. And wow. It's all falling in that I need to be there right to the end with her. And when I was doing the healing on her at this event, it was just so magical. And when you have these moments that you're never going to forget.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of these moments that I'll never forget. I had done the healing the first time I saw her, and I knew we were going to see each other, but not in person, like as, she's in front of me. And we both knew that. And so when I worked on her, she was really weak, but as I, did the healing, she got stronger. And when I finished, she actually sat up. With a little hole in her tummy, she sat up. She was staring at me with this look of love in her eyes, and she licked me. And I find every time I do a healing on an animal, they lick me. And that's their way of saying thank you, right? Oh. So here, it's this day, that 2:30 on a Thursday. And I thought of all the times for her to pick, because what was happening at noon that day, the local newspaper was here doing a feature on me. And meanwhile, I'm texting the owner. I'm giving her the messages from Miley. Yes, you're doing the right thing. And, it's all going to be wonderful. And I'm feeling Miley. I'm feeling the owner crying. And then I see this, the editor coming to the door, and he's got somebody with him walking right behind him. On the other side.
Spirit, okay? Yeah.
He sits down, and then my head gets kind of cold, and I'm doing this. And I thought, what the heck is going on with me? And then I said, he gave him this message. He goes, oh, that's my uncle, and he was bald. And I thought, okay. So then I sit back and I start rubbing my belly. And I'm like, what is this about, right? And so then he said, oh my gosh, I have to show you this picture. He said, that was my cat that did that all the time. So then he says, we have to stop this interview. And he brings up every picture of all his pets. and I'm like, yep, that one, like that had this problem here. This one had this. And he's like, oh my gosh. And then he asked about the near-death experience. Well, that article just came out yesterday. And I didn't know. And I'm getting all these emails. Can I do my Reiki training with you? Can I book a session? So I'm off the chart now, as far as busy from this interview, but I was guided to go. I heard 2 weeks ago that I had to go to another market. And I'm giving these examples because I want everyone to know that when you ask me that question, is everybody psychic? This is just me listening. And we all can do this when you tap in and listen, right?
Right.
And so what happened, I heard, okay, you need to go to this other market. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so busy. Like that's like 7 days a week. And I heard, no, we will free up some time. You will have your 2 days, but it'll be Thursday and Friday. You'll have your time. Like that would be Ross and my time. Right. And so I go to the market. I'm there maybe half an hour and I'm working on all these animals. And this lady comes up and she said, I want to help you. What do you need? And I said, well, I'm really busy at these markets, and like I don't have people bring their pets to me at my home because that's my home, and I that's my pet's home, right?
Right.
I don't go into people's homes because I get too distracted by the energy there, and I just can't do that. I do it at a distance, right? But people still want that hands-on connection, right?
Right.
So I said, my goal is I want to be going into pet stores. And she goes, okay, done. So go back and focus. I'm just letting it go, right? That's all I did. And I go back and I start working on the animals again. And then she comes back and she said, okay, so I'm used to be the owner of the pet, one of the pet stores, the chain Pet Value. And she said, I called the store that I owned and they want you in. And there's a few more that are wanting to know if you'll come in every day. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, so how do I fit all this in, So this is kind of where I'm at. Like my husband and I and my manager, we sit and we go, okay, what did I learn today? What do I have to change? Like really kind of making sure I keep my balance.
Right.
And
it's very important.
Dog, right?
Yeah.
Because like my husband and I and our dogs, we take every day. I'm lucky to live right by Niagara Falls. I literally go over the water and I see like New York, like Buffalo, New York. That's where I live. Wow. Yeah. So every day we walk by the water and we sit by the water. And that's why I don't start till noon, because my whole morning is about getting grounded and meditating and being in nature. Too. Right?
Yeah. That's my morning. That's my morning.
To do that, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't do stuff like that, that's where your abilities, can get like you can get overwhelmed because you can feel the stuff and it just hanging on to it. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes.
So, so it's just, getting bigger and bigger. So can I share another story?
Oh, sure. Your stories are fascinating. I love them.
That was Miley's story. So Miley she came through every day for about 4 days. And so every time I lift my feet, she told me she was bringing 20 of her ancestors to Mummy's because her Mummy's house was full of love. So that family is pretty full. But another story, when you talk about, being psychic and all this stuff, it can have its downsides. And the one story, a lady came to me and she was from the Cayman Islands. And she said she wanted me to help her to connect to her pet that had died. And so I said, okay, so we had the appointment booked, but she got the time zone's different. And just before we were supposed to go on the show, I felt this going like this around my ankles.
The cat.
Thought, oh my God, it's a snake.
Oh,
I don't like snakes. I really don't like snakes.
Misty hates snakes.
Well, so Misty, you and I love you. You understand what I'm going to say.
Right? Terrified.
Like I don't kill anything. Okay, I want
don't stay away from me.
Right? Like don't come near me. Right.
Right.
And so here, 5 minutes before we're supposed to do the call, here the snake is at my feet, going around my feet. And I'm like, oh, I can't focus and get away from me. Oh, the time zone is wrong. And she doesn't come on the call. And I contact her. I said, okay, you missed the call. We need to book this ASAP. And you don't know how serious this is. And I knew that snake was going to stay with me until I gave the message to her. Right. Oh man. So anyway,
now.
Right? And so anyways, we did do the interview, and basically the snake had come to ask me to tell her the snake was asking for forgiveness because what happened, where she lived, there was a hurricane, and her little Yorkie dog, they're small, right? Got scared in the storm, ran towards the rainforest, and this snake bit it and it died. And her family's fallen apart as a result of it. And so the snake knows what it has caused. And the snake said to me, just tell her I was startled by the dog I'm not a mean snake. And like I thought I was dreaming this when she's telling me this, right?
Yeah.
And so, the snake said, I'm not mean. And that I really didn't know. I was just protecting myself. But she bit the dog. The snake bit the dog, and the dog died of poisoning because it was a poisonous snake. And so
was the poisonous snake around your legs too?
Oh, the snake was around my legs during all this. And I was like trying to focus on this interview, like called consultation with her. Right. And as soon as I gave the message, I'm like in my mind, please go. Oh, just please leave me, right. And the snake was gone. Yeah. And the woman said, I forgive you, snake, whatever she called it. Right. And just like that. Isn't that crazy how you don't know what's going to come through to you.
Right.
And that snake just realized what it had done.
Oh my gosh.
I think her dogs might be sensing her anxiety about the snake.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy.
She's having like sweats and everything.
I'm all nervous and stuff. I don't like it.
I have a question for you, Sue. When you said to people earlier, you said, you have to listen, right?
Yep.
You need to listen. You can listen. So a lot of people, when they first start out trying, like communicating, let's say with animals, they hear a lot of different things. How would you maybe advise them to know which is the right one? Because when I first started working with mediumship, I would get a lot of info, and I have to kind of pick what's real, or which one's being given to me. What information is it, or which information I'm making up? You know what I mean? Discernment.
Yeah. So can I share like a kind of a routine that I do?
Absolutely.
Because when you get yourself in a real grounded place, it's the real thing. So how I start my day is, of course, give my dogs their little Reiki treatments and little Reiki massages and check in with them. And then, I will do my grounding. And so I will get in a chair, arms are uncrossed, legs are uncrossed. And then I will visualize that roots are going in the ground, like many people know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But now, because the energy is so crazy now, right? There's a lot of stress. Like for me, just to look over a buffalo, there's some days I can't even go to certain areas of looking at buffalo. I feel the stress so strong in part of the country. We don't have it as strong here, but I feel a lot when I look at America. No offense, but
I believe it.
You guys have a lot.
I feel a lot too.
I imagine. So what you want to do is not only do you grow your roots into your roots into the ground, but you want to take it a step farther, and you want to have those roots going into the core of the earth, the crystals. Okay. So you've got yourself really grounded. And then what I do is I have my hand on my heart, and I do the affinity symbol, it's like a stretched 8.
Yeah. Do you do it upright, or do you?
No, what I'm doing is I'm visualizing it in my mind, and I'm seeing that I'm connecting with God. Okay. Jesus is I always say I don't know where this is coming from. Lately I've started saying he's my main man. I don't know.
Maybe he likes that.
I know. That started happening the last few days. Anyways, so I'm connecting with my main man here, right? But if you connect with Buddha or whoever, that's where you do the connection with, the higher power, like God, Jesus, whoever. So you've already now got this connection. Right. Okay. So what I do is I'll close my eyes and I'll say, what do I need to know for today? Where do I need to go? What is the purpose for my day today? Okay. And so what will happen, I will hear, like I heard, I needed to be at that one market and I needed to start this date. That's where the woman came, right? For the pet stores. I heard that I needed to be at this Ridgeway Festival. And so what I haven't told you yet is that Ridgeway Festival was about me helping a blind dog see again.
Oh my gosh, that's my kind of story.
Did
that's
you do
why
it?
Your relationship with Jesus is so tight. Yeah, that's it right there.
Did you do it?
Miracles.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the dog came.
What's the dog's name? Do you remember?
India. Oh, I remember them. I remember them all.
Yeah.
I can't tell you people's names, but I can tell you the dog's names.
Had the dog ever seen before, or had it always been blind?
No, it got cataracts. And the owner had said that, she wasn't going to see it. I'm like, she's going to see. She sees. I'm seeing. She sees. And she's like, oh, like that's really nice, Sue. And I'm glad you're positive. And she was a really nice lady, but I think she was like, oh, I don't know, like
kind of on the fence.
Really hopeful, right?
Going on. Yeah.
Well, she really connected with me. But I mean, really, if somebody comes up and says your blind dog's going to see again, you're going to doubt it, right?
Right.
It had been a while. And so anyway, she brought India to me like once a week. And I kept saying to her, she's doing better. She's seeing better. And so then it got to be that like last week was the first time I was at a market on Saturday and a Sunday. She brought the dog to both the markets. And the one on Saturday, I said, see, the angels are coming through again. My nose is getting so the one on Saturday, she came. And I said, I'm telling you, this dog is seeing. And so I said, just text me later and let me know, what happens if you have any questions. And so she goes, I don't know how to tell you this, but she said she went over to her ball. And so I said, okay. And so she came to me the next day. So at that point, India is now seeing, right? And so she didn't want to sit on my knee, like how she was like really dependent before, because she needed someone to take her places, right? So she's on my knee and she's like, I don't have to see. I want to see. Take me, show me, go show me. So we're walking around, this market, and she's like, "What? There's a leaf, and look at that, and look at that." So the owner goes home, and she says, "You're not going to believe it. She just chased the ball, and she got the ball herself." And I said, that's great. And I'm crying because I'm like so grateful that I listened and I'm taking the action and I've done the work on myself and I've, done all this, right. And believed in my abilities, didn't let other people shut me down when it was my test time, right. And so that night she goes, you're not going to believe it. She said, we're in the backyard right now and she's chasing me. And she's like she was a puppy. So if you go to my my website on the homepage, you'll see a testimonial from Tina in India, and it's on there. And that's I think one of my posts this week, you'll see a picture of she's sitting on a bed and it says, "I love you, Sue," or "Thank you, Sue," something like that, and our picture together. So
how can the listeners find you? You said you have a website, so.
So my website is youranimalcommunicator.com.
Okay, I'll put that in the description, listeners, so you can definitely find her.
Yeah, and then what I want to say to people is like, go to my how do I say this? Ask Sue London Facebook page.
Okay, I'll put that in the link in the description too.
Perfect. Because I always say, share with me your stuff. And, if you meet me, like a lot of people want me to have their picture with me with their pet. So I'm always like, put it on for people to see and test like that. Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. So yes.
I'd like to know, what is your favorite part of this work for you? Of your personal favorite part of the work that you do? It's service. You're doing service.
Yeah. To me, it's not work. It's just, I'm living my destiny. And anytime, when Miley looked at me and gave me that look, I said to my husband, Ross, this moment is what I came back for, and then I don't know when I was going to Sick Kids Hospital on my 40th birthday, I'm all about on my birthday. It's a big thing, right?
Me too. Mine's like a week long. My birthday's a week long.
Oh, I have the month.
Even better.
Twice, right? So it's a month. And so
really,
right. So my thing is that I want to do something to help somebody else. And I remember that. So on my 40th birthday, 20 years ago, we were in Sick Kids Hospital and our dogs were doing pet therapy. And I had just left, these children that were not coming home. I'd gone to 14 rooms. And it's tough. As much as I know they're going to a good place, and I'm just feeling, that the energy of the sorrow and, the child excited, if you want to say, because they know children are smart. They know where they're going and that there's more for them. It's, the parents that they're, you hear kids are strong when they're getting ready to cross. It does happen. And we worked together to help the families and that. So I had gone to all these rooms and my husband was bringing me our dog, Willie, for pet therapy with me to get ready to go in the next rooms. And I was feeling drained after, and I knew I had to come out. And both the dog and I had to kind of de-stress, to cleanse and everything.
Decompress.
Yeah. So there was a boy talking to Ross with his father in the lounge after I was coming out. And so the boy said, Ross said, we have a surprise for you for your birthday. And that surprise was that little boy, Josh was his name. And that when I first met him, he was in stage 4 cancer. And I, would go into his room and I would read. And with Reiki, like you can kind of hold a book and then the Reiki comes out, right? So I'd hold the book and send him Reiki. And I was also teaching him to visualize, to go to a happy, like a place, maybe like a lot of them pick Disney World or, somewhere like, they want to go see Mickey Mouse or whatever. And so
Make a wish.
His visualization was to Mexico. And so when I was there, he said, I have some news for you. And I thought, oh my gosh, like I wanted to be prepared. Right. And he said, well, my stage 4 cancer is in remission.
Oh, what a gift.
You helped me to get there and I wouldn't be here without you. And I said, well, you did the work. He goes, no, you really helped me. This boy was like, I don't know, 10, maybe 9, 10.
Oh.
Talk about an old soul, right?
Yeah.
And so then the father said to him, well, that visualization you had about Mexico, we are going there tomorrow.
Yes. I knew you were going to say that.
Right? That is why I do the work, because that every birthday for 20 years I've said, I wonder how Josh is doing. And do you remember that? And, like that's what is important to me, and then helping.
The connection.
Right. Well, it's just that I can do some small thing to help someone's life. And we all can do it. It's just a matter, are we all doing it?
Yes, right.
I agree. Yes.
That is so true.
Misty, do you have any questions for Sue? I could pick your brain all day. I could really, we could have made this we could have made this an hour and a half long interview.
Well, I do have a question. Let's say, okay, I want to start some healing with my pet or my dog.
Yeah.
And I've done the grounding work in the morning and, I've got, everything open and clear. Mm-hmm. What would be the next step?
Okay. So what I like to say to everybody is that you don't have to be like, everyone's a natural healer. It's just a matter if you tap into that. Right. And I say to people that you really, really, really need to clear your baggage before you work on a pet. Because your stuff is going in your pet. These pets in our world are absorbing everyone's energy, which we have to clear this energy. And you heard me say in the beginning, I do the healing on like Reiki on my pets, right? So what happens is that when you go out, your pet will take on whatever they see on the street, hear on the radio, see on the TV. If you're stressed, they'll feel it. Like, look how your dogs, when you were with the snake just now, right?
I know. They felt the stress.
Yeah. So you want to get yourself in this really good place. You want to have an Epsom salts bath every night. Like I have to do that or I swell up like a balloon, the energy,
really?
Okay. Yeah. I have to carry a stone as well. I got an extra right here. Tourmaline?
Yeah, I have to.
I have to carry that as well, and I can't eat sugar, dairy. Like it's got
very sensitive.
But not only that, like it makes me clearer when I eat really pure, right? Like I only drink reverse osmosis water. Nothing else is the liquid. Like there's no coffee, tea, alcohol, or anything. Yeah. So you're in this place, Misty, to answer your question, you're in this place where you're really, kind of like healthy, pure, and pure, that meaning like the emotionally pure kind of, right? So you're
right, settled, like calm.
Right. But you don't have like the anger or, like the stress or that, right? So then what you would do is you would take your pet. My boys are over there, but I don't want to ruin the show.
Gandalf. Come here, Gan. Can you do it through the TV screen?
Well, no, so I'll show you kind of.
Okay, like, you won't come.
Well, yeah, so you're going to start on the head. So here's the head, okay? So you start on the top of the head and you kind of like, you're kind of brushing down. How you brush on the top of their head, you go down their neck, right?
Yeah.
You go all the way down the spine and then you go down the tail. So you're kind of like brushing. You're brushing the energy away from that area. And then you get down to the bottom of the tail, you flick it in the ground. Okay. Then you go, to the ears because they're hearing stuff, right? So you flick it and then you flick it into the ground.
Okay.
Then you go down each leg, flick it in the ground, next leg, flick it in the ground. Make sure there's not another animal there. You don't want like another animal near this, okay? Because you're flicking from one animal to the next. And you don't flick their stuff onto you.
Right.
Go down, the front. Use your intuition. If you hear, okay, I have to do his neck and his chest and his belly, go down there. If you're finished and you hear, okay, you know what? I need to do this again. So that's telling you he's got a lot. Okay. Your puppies have a lot you have to clear, Misty, just so you know. Yeah. And so you want to do it like a bunch of times. Like
I need to do it more than I'm doing right now.
What's that?
I need to do it even more than what I'm doing.
I do my dogs probably 10 minutes each in the morning. Sometimes it's in the afternoon and every evening for sure. So twice a day.
Okay.
And yeah, for sure. And like even like when I'm working with a client, they're right at my feet and they're hearing stuff and that.
Right.
So yeah. So, I've had people come to me. Oh, there we go.
He made it.
Hey, there, Lisa. Now you can do it. So you can do that. What I just said, right, to show everyone. So go down, like take the hat, like the head, right, and kind of, there we go, and then go down all down the end, right, like go straight there, right down the tail. There we go, and then flick it there, and then just it feels good on them. You'll find they might start yawning. You might find that they're
like it.
Sleep. Yeah, she likes it.
He likes it. Yeah.
He likes it. Yeah. And they all the animals just love it. And you're clearing them. And
he loves the ears. He loves that a lot.
Yeah, because there's a lot. They're hearing a lot. And I'm not saying it's personally in your homes, but your environment.
I'm in an apartment place. So
there you go.
Everything. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So flick it down. And and like I'll hear sometimes, if there's someone out on the street, that doesn't happen here, but if there was someone on the street and say that, they were yelling, our dogs heard that, I would do it, 2 or 3 more times that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then for myself, I have an Epsom salts bath every night. I carry the stone, so you want to do that stuff for yourself. But people have come to me and tell me that their pet can't walk. And I know right away that the pet has taken their stuff on around moving forward. And so I'll work with them and say, okay, let's look at, where you're at. And we go through their stuff. And then I will do the clearing on the pet. Like I'll do the distant read. Look at the tail.
Yeah, I know.
And I can't even focus on this now.
He's so cute. He knows what he's doing.
But yeah, so I said to I was helping the woman. Then I did the Reiki clearing on the dog, and the dog got up, walked, started chasing, going up and down the stairs. So that's how much these animals are taking. When Willie used to do pet therapy, our little Shih Tzu coming in the hospital, what would happen is he'd go in, all energized, and then he would come out after 1 hour. I'd have to carry him because he had absorbed so much. He was being there and absorbing everyone's stuff. So that all these animals in the world, that's what they're doing right now. And there's a lot of animals getting sick and people don't understand why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we all can do that. Just, and then, if you're not a healer, like, and you just want to do this for your pet, just get yourself, when you grow the roots and, you do the affinity symbol, then just fill your whole being with love. And that love and that connection you have with your pet can be very healing for them.
That is so true. The love you feel for your pet.
Easy to do. I mean, you pet your dog. Why not just, put
clear the energy off? Yeah, I had learned that in Reiki as well. I just had learned Reiki 1 and 2, Sue, last winter. So you teach just to brush off, but she would say, throw it out the window.
Right.
You can do it at the ground or the window. So that I could I'd never thought to do that to either of my babies, my little mouse, and now I will now.
And thank you. See, now, Lisa, what you want to do now, because as healers, like, the energy, like, we're magnets, right?
Yes.
And so what I do, because I connect with every one of these animals. Like I say to my husband, I want to bring that one home. I want to bring that one home. And I bring
I'll be the same way. Yeah.
Right. So a good trick to do to kind of disconnect so that you're in the place to help someone else is see that person or animal like a sandcastle in their shape in your hand, and then just blow on it. Just blow it away.
Okay, like their image. Like
Yeah. Well, so it's like sand, right? Like they're like sand, like a sand castle.
I love
And,
that.
you know, like the shape, if it's a dog or cat, whatever, or a person.
Yeah.
And just see and then just blow because sand blows, right? And that's how you can disconnect.
That's really cool. I love that. That's a
That
great
is a good
imagery.
idea.
You
Yeah.
have been amazing, Sue. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming.
Really
I'd love
fun.
for you to come back if you ever have time, because it sounds like you don't have much. But
Well,
if you
you
ever
know
want
what?
to,
Absolutely. You know, we can look at another date. That'd be fun.
I would love it, because
Yeah.
I would love to get more into like exactly what you've learned from animals, from healing them, and what you've learned about people healing their pets and healing in general. And your communication. We never even got to really get into the
I know, there's
communication.
so
and how
much
it's
to talk about.
so I would
you
love
know,
to do that too.
It's almost like there's so many people don't understand how their emotions are affecting their pet. And once you become aware of that, and you know, so many people love their pets that they would do anything for them. And sometimes that's all they need to hear this.
That's so true.
And that
Just tell
helps
them.
them to heal, right?
Yes.
So I think
Perfect.
you know, it was exactly how it was supposed to be.
Yes, that's very good advice for all
Thank
the
you.
listeners. I love that.
That is, and good advice for me as well. Thank you so much. And while I'm saying thank you, I would like to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And listeners, thank you as always for listening. And Sue, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
This is just
I really appreciate being
awesome.
here.
And Misty,
Help
thank you.
a lot of people in pets.
You will. Yeah. A lot of people are going to love this. I know they're going to love this. I love this podcast.
Yes.
So thank you very much again. And listeners, we'll be back sometime soon. Have a great evening, afternoon, morning, whatever you're doing. Have a good one and peace out. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.